All right, today we're going to tackle one of the biggest questions in blockchain development. How do you actually get from a smart contract, just a piece of code, to a real working application that people can actually use? Let's dive in.
So you've done it. You've spent all this time crafting the perfect smart contract. The logic is tight, the code is compiled, but what is it really? Right now, it's just a file sitting on your hard drive. So how does it make that leap from a static piece of code to a living, breathing application?
Here's our roadmap. First, we're going to deploy the contract. Then we'll seed it with some initial data. After that, we'll build the user interface, see how to interact with the contract, handle payouts, and then we'll wrap it all up by looking at the full dapp lifecycle.
Okay, first things first, we have to get our smart contract off our computer and onto the blockchain.
This is the first big hurdle, right? You've got your compiled bytecode, basically the language the machine understands. But how does that code get published and activated on the live Ethereum network? It's kind of like having a fully compiled program, but you don't have a server to run it on. So what do you do?
Well, the answer is a deployment script. Think of it as a little program that handles the launch for you. First, it connects to an Ethereum node, which is our doorway to the whole network. Second, it securely unlocks your wallet account to prove you have permission to do this. Third, it grabs your compiled code, both the bytecode itself and this thing called the ABI, which is basically an instruction manual for your contract. And finally, it sends out a special create transaction. This transaction tells the entire network, hey, here's a new contract, and gets it mined and permanently locked onto the blockchain. And the tool that makes all of this possible? It's called web3.js. You can think of this library as the ultimate bridge, or maybe a universal translator. It's what allows our scripts and applications to speak the language of the blockchain, sending instructions and reading data from any Ethereum node. So, our contract is officially live on the blockchain. That's a huge step. But right now, it's basically an empty box. We need to give it some initial data so it knows what to do. An empty shell. That's a perfect way to describe it. The contract is there, but its memory, its storage, is completely blank. For those with a database background, this is exactly like creating a new table that has columns but 0 rows. So how do we run that initial setup to get it ready for users? And if you've ever worked with a traditional database, this should look super familiar. We use what's called a seeding script. On the left, you see a standard SQL insert command. On the right, a function called to our smart contract. They're doing the exact same thing. Each one is a transaction that writes a new piece of data, a new record, to the state of the blockchain. Okay, our contract is deployed, it's populated with data, but right now only developers can really talk to it. To open it up for everyone else, we need to build that user interface. We need to build a bridge.
And that's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? The backend logic, all the data, it's all on-chain, it's secure, it's decentralized. That's great, but for a regular person, it's completely invisible. They're not going to be running scripts. So how do we connect the world of the web browser to the world of the blockchain?
We actually build a pretty familiar front end, but with a crucial twist. You've got 3 main components. First, there's the view. This is just your standard HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that runs in any browser. Then you have the back end. That's our smart contract living on Ethereum. And the magic is in the middle, the connector. This is where web3.js and a tool like MetaMask step in to build that secure bridge between the user and the blockchain. This is why a tool like MetaMask is so essential. It's a simple browser extension that does 2 amazing things. It's a secure wallet for the user, and it's their gateway to Ethereum. What it does for us, the developers, is it injects the necessary Web3 API right into our website's JavaScript. This allows our front end to talk directly to our smart contract, and the user doesn't have to install a thing besides the extension. So with that UI and that bridge in place, we can finally dig into how it all works. How does a user actually read from and write to our smart contract? This is probably one of the most important things to understand in Web3. You see, it's one thing to just pull some data from the blockchain and display it on a screen. That's a read operation. But it's a completely different thing when a user needs to change something to perform a write operation. The difference is absolutely fundamental. And here it is. Reading data is a simple call. We're just asking the contract a question like, hey, what are the active games? Since we're not changing anything, it's totally free and happens instantly. But writing data, that requires a transaction. This is an action that's going to permanently alter the state of the blockchain. Because of that, it costs a little bit of gas, it has to be cryptographically signed by the user to prove it's them, and it has to wait to be mined into a new block. Okay, so we can read data for free and we can write data with a transaction. With just those two tools, we can now close the loop on our whole application and talk about payouts and withdrawals. This is where the rubber meets the road, the whole point of the app. An event is over, a winner has been decided. So how does the contract's logic actually run? And how do we let users claim the funds they've rightfully won in a way that's totally secure and transparent? The whole process is actually pretty straightforward. First, the user interface makes a simple, free call to check their available balance. When they're ready, they click a withdraw button. This action kicks off a transaction to the contract's special withdraw function. MetaMask then pops up, asking them to review the details and sign off on it. Once they hit approve and that transaction gets mined, the smart contract code just executes automatically, sending the Ether straight from its own balance to the user's personal wallet. The loop is closed. It's all done on chain.
And just like that, we've gone from a simple text file to a complete interactive application. So let's zoom out one last time and recap the entire journey from start to finish.
And there you have it, the whole journey. You start with the code, writing the logic in Solidity. Then you deploy it to the blockchain with a script. You seed it with its starting data. Then you build a normal front end, connect it using tools like Web3.js, and finally, users can interact with it, reading and writing data on the blockchain. That's the whole life cycle.
So just take a step back and think about what this enables. We've just built an entire application that doesn't live on a single company's server. Its rules are enforced by a global network. So the big question is, what does it mean for the future of the internet when anyone can build applications that are more transparent, more resilient, and ultimately controlled by their users? If you found this explainer useful, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives just like this one. Thanks for tuning in.